Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and we have the Kizer horn, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to talk about N690 steel. But first, I want to thank MOJAVE Outdoors for sending us a bunch of products, a bunch of Kizers, and supporting Neeves Knives. Now, they sent me a message stating, because they heard me in another video, say that, I liked the Kizer horn, or I wanted to try it because I really liked the Micarta, but it was just so damn ugly. And they sent me a message saying that they heard me say that, but they were going to send it to me anyways. And I thought that was hilarious. And I want to giving credit to Kizer for the support that MOJAVE Outdoors has been giving us. So I definitely, want to thank them, personally to MOJAVE Outdoors for all the support they're giving, Neeves Knives. And if you're wanting a Kizer, or if you're interested in Kizers, MOJAVE Outdoors, I'm linking it in the description. They have a ton of discounts, tons of great products. Definitely check them out. Now, getting into this knife. First off, the N690 steel, which Kizer's been doing a lot of. They've been doing a lot of N690. And I've sharpened a ton of N690, and I've sharpened a ton of Kizer's N690. They do a good job with it, first off. I did not sharpen this one in particular. It just hasn't needed it. It's been doing really good. I might need it pretty soon, but, I try to keep them going as long as possible. And I've sharpened so much of Kizer's N690 that I already know how it is. Now, going into N690, it's a very well-rounded steel. It's got good edge retention. Great corrosion resistance. It's pretty tough. I mean, it's not 3V or anything, but it's a pretty tough steel, especially for pocket knives, because for pocket knives, you don't really need the level of toughness that you need from a fixed blade. But even though it's still very tough. Now, another thing is it's very easy to sharpen. For the edge retention you get from it, for basically how long your edge will last, it sharpens up extremely well, and it takes a very, very sharp edge. It polishes up good. It takes a good toothy edge. It basically takes whatever kind of edge you want to put on it, and it kind of reminds me of Sandvik steels a little bit, or like a 154 CM or a VG10. It just really reminds me of those steels. So that's basically a breakdown of N690. It's a very well-rounded steel, which is what you want to see in a pocket knife steel, is a well-rounded steel. Now, you're not going to have to worry so much about corrosion. It does have great corrosion resistance. And then, like I said, it takes a very sharp edge and keeps it for a good amount of time. Now, the Micarta on the Kizer horn is so nice. It is extremely well done. You can see the fibers in it. And I'm extremely impressed with this Micarta. I think this is, as of right now, this is about the best quality I've seen from Kizer. And yeah, and you know what? And Kizer's been doing a great job with their Micarta. I mean, I've got plenty of it, and I like it, most of it. Some of their older stuff I wasn't very impressed with, but a lot of their newer stuff, oh my, are they doing a great job with it. I mean, it's just so well done. It's the exact kind of texture you want to see from good quality Micarta. And they have lots of different colors. Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. One more will show. Extremely well done. And this one so far is probably my favorite. It's so soft in the hand. You can really feel the fibers. You can see them as well. But it just has that beautiful Micarta texture that we like to see. And it's it's gonna age, with over time from the oils in your skin. So it's only gonna get better, in my opinion. The action on this knife is so good. The detent is very, very well tuned for the flipper tab and for the reverse flick, but the flipper tab is removable, which I will remove it in 1 second and show you. First, let's check out the flipper tab action, because they put jimping on the top where you can do the light switch, and they put jimping on the back where you can do a push button. And you can also do the kind of in between where you just kind of rest your finger and snag it down. Every bit of this flipper tab works great. Now, it's obviously tuned for both actions, so I can easily fail it if I want to, but it's also, I have to try to fail it because it is very, very well tuned. If I break that detent, it's going, which I really like. Now, with the flipper tab on, the lock bar access is very easy. And the detent is right there. Not real early, not real late. It's easy to get past, so it's not a big deal. If you're holding up real high, you will hit the detent, but as long as you hold it in the middle of the lock bar or below, it's fine. And the drop on it is extreme. There you go. I hit it. Is extremely smooth. Now, with the flipper tab on, with the ergos, and I'm going to take it off and do, check it out right after, but you're very locked in. It feels very comfortable. This thickness right here is really nice in the hand. The jimping is so well done. I love this jimping, and it's everywhere I want it, and it's not the kind of jimping that aggravates you. You can rest your finger on there, and it's only beneficial. It doesn't annoy you. It's not too sharp. It's just a little grippy, which I like. Now, even if I hold it back here, I still have jimping because they give you a lot of it. Now, the thickness right here, how it goes down and tapers, feels really nice in the hand. I do feel the clip a little bit, but it's a deep carry clip. Now, taking off the flipper tab only makes it that much better. And look how easy this is. It's so easy to take off. Now, I made sure the last time I took it off, I did put Locktight on it, and the screw pops out, and voila. Now, the beauty of this is that it's jimped already underneath. So it's already ready for you to take it off, and it is so comfortable after you take it off. I don't know which one I like it better, because the flipper tab action is so good and the reverse flicking action is so good. The flipper, the hole right here, it literally lands exactly where, that was my fault, exactly where my middle finger lands when I want to reverse flick it. So when I'm holding it, bam, my finger just, that's right where it lands, is right in that hole. Now the thumb, my thumb naturally goes a little bit higher, but it's nothing for me to just drop it down and flip it. But the reverse flick, it's just natural. It's right there, exactly where my finger lands for the reverse flick. And the detent is well tuned for the reverse flick. Now, with it, off, like I said, it's so comfortable. You can get up nice and close to that blade for push cuts, reverse cuts, pinch grips, anything. And you can do the same thing with the flipper tab, but getting up nice and close to the blade is really nice. I think this is extremely comfortable, and it actually lets me go up a little bit higher, which makes it more comfortable back here, because with the flipper tab on, I do feel the clip just a little bit. So with it off, brings me up a little bit, and I don't feel it so much. So I do like that they are, they have made that possible. And with it off, when you hit the lock bar, it's you see right there, right here is the detent. So you just want to hold it a little bit below there, and it's past it. So it's still very easy, and you can let it drop all the way down if you want to. It's extremely smooth on the drop. The slow roll is very easy. Nice and centered, very solid side to side and towards the lock. Now, going into cutting with it. So, this thing's got pretty good geometry. especially for this kind of blade shape. A lot of times you see blade shapes like this are a little thicker, and this, for this example, man, does it cuts really good. The geometry is really nice, and it passes through materials very nicely. You have a lot of leverage through your cuts because the ergos are really good. About 15 thousandths behind the edge, and the taper to the spine is done pretty well for the saber grind, basically a saber grind. And yeah, you have a lot of leverage through your cuts. The jimping on the spine makes it to where you are locked in, very solid. And you know, the jimping where your finger lands after you remove the flipper tab also gives you some traction. Push cuts are really nice. Slicing is very nice. And you know, this isn't quite the blade shape for slicing, but it works just fine. Getting to utility cuts, that's what this knife was made for. It is a utility cutting beast, and it works extremely well. The blade shape is just designed for good utility cutting. Not only does it slice very well, but doing draw cuts or utility cuts, it works great. And the geometry in the tip is nice and fine, but also nice and strong. So you're not going to have to worry about breaking it or anything, you know, as long as you're not abusing it. And it's going to work very well for opening things up, cutting stuff, doing draw cuts, doing utility cuts, you know, whatever you need to do with the tip. This tip works very good. Now, getting into the clip. The clip is also done very well, and it's reversible. So that's really nice because this is very left-handed good. You can use it right or left-handed very easily. I'm not left-handed. I have, you know, it's just as good. So if you're a lefty, this is a great knife for you. And the clip in and out of the pocket works great. Great clip. It is not inset, but it does have flat screws, so you never feel any hiccups or anything going into the pocket. It just slides right in, slides right out, fits very nicely, easy to carry, no problems with the clip or the carry for use. It just works really, really good. Now, getting into the hardware, you know, it's got T8s all the way around. I'm really happy to see that. We do have T6s on the clip and to remove the flipper tab. I would have rather seen T8 right there because especially if you're going to be removing it and putting it back on. Same thing with the clip because, you know, lefties are going to be changing it over. I would prefer T8s, but I'm so happy that they put T8s all the way around, you know, other than those two spots. So very, very happy with that. It is on ceramic bearings and a ceramic detent ball. And that's another reason why this action is just so good. Kizer's really tuned their action lately. I mean, they've always had great action, but lately it's been ridiculously good. Nice size stop pin and liners. They are milled out. You do have a couple back standoffs back there. Now, getting into the bad things. So I do have a couple little negatives. One, and this one is very much a nitpick, but I'm going to start with it. The plunge grind. The plunge grind is okay. And I'm not saying it's bad, but it's close because it starts right here and it ends right there. I wish they would have just ended the plunge grind like right here and left you just a little bit more room. Now, it's still okay. It's nowhere near the bad category. The bad category would mean the plunge grind ends here, right? It ends back here, so they did give you plenty of sharpening, plenty of life to get out of this. But I just like to keep saying that because I'd love to see more and more companies pay attention to the plunge grind, including Kizer. So next thing is, you know, this is such a great quality knife. I do really appreciate it. And as much as I thought it was ugly at one time, I like it. I do. I really like the knife. And it's a badass knife. However, the clip, you know, it kind of looks cheap. especially on this beautiful micarta. I wish it was, at the very least, just like stone washed. That mirror look makes it look cheap. You see that on cheap budget knives. This, I would just way rather seen it etched or stone washed, something like that, something to make it look a little bit better quality rather than just the shiny stainless clip. Kind of same thing with the hardware. Or sorry, not the hardware, the liners. Now the liners you don't see because they are inset, but the lock bar, you can kind of see it right here. It's that shiny stainless. I'd rather it be, I don't know. I just that shiny stainless look can really cheapen a knife. Now, I'm not saying that happened here because you can't see the liners or anything, but I'm just saying, like, with the lock bar, it matches just fine, so it's not that big of a deal. And they did do a good job on the satin finish. They did basically a two-way satin finish, so they got this direction on the flats, and then here they have this direction. So it's very well done. No complaints about that. Now, the next complaint is, like I was saying previously, it's ugly. It is an ugly knife. The micarta is beautiful, though. It almost looks like a mistake or something. They got this beautiful micarta on this ugly knife. Now, I'd love to see this micarta used on a lot more models. However, even though it's so ugly, it is still a very nice knife. I like it. Like I said before, it's kind of like an English bulldog or something, or Douglas. It's kind of like our mascot, Douglas. It's ugly, but I like it, and I love bulldogs but they're so ugly, but I love them to death. Anyways, so this has that going for it, it's kind of like a bulldog, ugly and cute at the same time. And this, it is very cool, and I do like it a lot. Now, the next thing, which, let me just say this, it was very difficult for me to find anything negative on this thing. It is very well done. I pick everything I'm going to say here literally is just nitpicking because this is a very, very well done knife. But I do wish the clip was inset. I know. I'm very much nitpicking. Now, on this side, maybe they didn't have to inset it because I know it probably would have taken away from the look a little bit. Instead, they kind of raised it up just a tiny, tiny bit. You probably can't see it that well. But, I'd like to see it inset. I do like to see that, but not that big of a deal. And the lanyard hole is, the clip still sits very deep. So I'm happy that the lanyard hole was kind of secondary. But is it, though? Because it's kind of still right there. I'd rather see just a hidden lanyard hole in the back instead of putting a hole through it. Because if you can put a hole through it, right, then you could have countersunk the clip. Nitpicks. Other than that, everything else is very, very well done. It's very well tuned. The fit, the finish, the materials is all really nice. The price point is really good. And it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat because it's a cool knife. It is awesome, and I appreciate getting to check one out because, to be honest, I wasn't going to buy one, so I'm happy that I did get one because I wouldn't know how awesome this was if not getting it in the hand and trying it out. It is badass, and I'm gonna link them below along with Mojave Outdoors and all the other information to contact me for sharpening or sharpening supplies and all that good stuff. I love you guys. Peace.